All right, perfect. And we're recording. Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to your movement breath session. Um, so I'm gonna go through a little sequence today, this morning. I have a chair here, so I'll demonstrate some stuff if you're gonna be on a chair. A lot of these movements might seem intuitive to some of us. It might seem difficult to others. The main thing that I want everyone to think about is breathing. And the breathing that you're going to focus on is not just in and out, but you're going to focus on when you have every inhale, you're going to focus on taking up space, getting bigger, getting wider through the torso, front, sides, and back. And as you exhale, we're going to feel the contraction. And the idea behind that is you're going to take up space on the inhale, and then we're going to use the muscles to help squeeze the air out. So even if you can't do a certain movement, you're still going to be using the muscles, the deep intrinsic muscles, as you inhale and exhale. So again, if you find some of the movements a little bit complex, that's okay. Just try to use breath, try to sync the breath. That's basically it. So if you want to be seated, if you are seated, that's fine. If you want to stand, you could stand. So the first thing we're going to do is some pranayama breathing. I'll demonstrate from a seated position. Now, the idea behind this is to sit as tall as you can instead of slouching. So if you're standing, you're going to stand tall. If you're sitting, you're also going to sit tall. Admit a couple more people. Perfect. All right, so either from seated or standing, pranayama breathing. You're going to just bring your hands to your chest, to your belly, let the palms touch, the base of the palms towards the wrist, and then the fingers. You can kind of create some space in between the palms, and this tension is going to just gently activate the forearms and the upper arms. So you're going to press the base of the wrists, press the fingers together. Take a deep breath in. You're going to interlock the fingers, exhale out your mouth, and press your hands down. Now, if you are seated, just push your arms out in front of you like this, that's fine. Inhale, reach the palms up, keep the fingers interlaced, and you could look up. Bring your hands together, press the palms, press the fingers, exhale. Pull it all the way back down. If you're standing, you're going to go down. If you're seated, you're just going to go in front of you. Inhale, reach the arms up. Your hands together, exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Keep going. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale. So we have this in and out pattern. Breathe in. Make a few structural adjustments. Breathe out. So now as you inhale and you send your arms up, keep your lower ribs pulling down so the rib cage is stacked. Bring your hands together. As you exhale, pull the belly button back. Again, inhale, arms up. Lower ribs pull down. Hands together. Pull the belly button in and up. Breathe in, let the arms rise. Hands together, breathe out. One more structural change. As you inhale, lift out of your hips. So feel the upper body getting taller. Hands together. And breathe out. Allow the shoulders to relax on the exhale. Let's go again. Breathe in. Reach up, get tall. Lungs filled, chest is wide. Hands together. Breathe out. Inhale, arms up. And exhale. We're going to do this one more time. Take a deep, slow breath in. Just pause right here. Hold the inhale. Hold it. And now exhale. Let all the air go. Release the arms. Just move the shoulders out. And breathe. And we're going to do some spinal movement. I'd like you to put your one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. If it may feel a bit more comfortable, just bring your hands to your hips. Now, the body itself will move, but we want to initiate this movement from the spine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push my spine forward and back. So it's going to look like my chest is pushing forward. Then it's going to look like I'm hollowing out my upper body. If you're seated, same movement. You want to sit tall, push the spine forward, push the spine back. So inhale, push the chest forward. Exhale, push the spine back. Breathe in, spine forward. You can look up for this one. And breathe out, push the spine back, maybe look down. Go again, inhale, push your chest forward. Exhale, pull it back. Breath in, breath out. In and out. Keep going. In and out. If you're standing, keep the legs strong here. Breathe in. Breathe out. Should feel a bit more space being created. Upper body. Breath in. And out. This inhale, come back to a neutral spine. Exhale, release the arms. Stay as you are. Breath in. Breath out. Again, in. Out. We're going to have some more spinal movement, but this time we're going to go side to side. So what I want to do is slide over to the right, slide over to the left. As I do this, I'm not actually leaning. That's not what we're doing. Think of the center of your chest being pulled to one side. So you're going to create a slight arch through your spine in both directions. So again, hand to the belly, to the chest. If you're seated, you want to sit tall. If you're standing, keep the legs active so you have a stable hip carriage. Let's go. Let's breathe in. Let's slide over to the right. And breathe out, slide to the left. Think about the center of the spine pulling to the side. And pull to the other side. Breathe in to the right. And breathe out to the left. You could close your eyes as well. Inhale, pull to the right. Exhale to the left. Breathe in and out. In and out. We're going to add a slight head tilt. So as you breathe in, pull your spine to the right, tilt your head down. Same thing, opposite side. Pull the spine to the left, top of the head tilts to the right. Let's go again. Breathe in, spine to the right, head tilts to the left. Breathe out to the other side. Breath in, breath out. In and out. Let's go 2 more times each direction. Breath in, breath out. In and out. Pull back to center. Relax. Breath in, breath out. Again, in and out. So now we're going to combine those movements, front, back, side, and side. But instead of going front, back, side, and side, we'll go front, side, back, side. So again, you could do this seated, or you could be standing, hand to the belly, hand to the chest. We're going to push the chest forward and then pull it to the right. Go back and then to the left, and then go forward. So we're going to start with those 4 points, and gradually as we keep moving, we're going to smooth out the edges and try to make a circle. And again, remember, the movement is coming from the spine itself. It's going to project through the chest. It's going to project through the ribs. That's fine. But you want to initiate from the spine. Hand to the chest, hand to the belly. Doesn't matter which hand is where, whatever is most comfortable. So let's breathe in, push the chest forward. Breathe out, slide to the right. Inhale, pull the spine back as far as you can. Exhale, go to the left. Breathe in, push the spine out, forward. Breathe out to the right. Inhale to pull back. Exhale to the left. Breathe in, go forward. Look up just a bit. Breathe out, pull to the right. Head tilts to the left. Inhale, pull back, look down. Exhale to your left. Head tilts to the right. Breathe in, forward, look up. Breathe out over to the right. Inhale, pull back. Exhale to the left. You could stick with those 4 points, or let's try to smooth it out a bit. Inhale, go forward, look up. Exhale, slide over to the right. Take your time. Inhale, pull back, look down. Exhale over to your left, head tilts to the right. And breathe in forward. Breathe out back. Inhale, come back. Exhale to your left. Breath in, push forward. Breath out, slide to the right. Inhale, pull back. Exhale to your left. Now listen, inhale, come back to neutral. Exhale here. We're going to reverse directions. We're going to go back first, then to the right, forward, and then left. You could stick with the 4 points, or you could go right into the circle, whichever is most comfortable for you. So let's inhale, pull the spine back, look down. Exhale, slide to the right, tilt your head. Breath in, push forward. Breath out to your left. Inhale, pull back. Exhale to your right. Breathe in, forward. Breathe out to your left. Try to smooth it out if you can. Inhale, go back. Exhale to your right. Breathe in, forward. Breathe out to your left. You can always try to push a bit further in that direction. Pushing your boundaries a bit. Trying to create more space. You'll get more activation in the core because you're going to have to use more muscle. One more back. To the right. Forward. Left. Let's pull back to neutral. Relax. Take a deep breath in. Sigh out your mouth. Again, inhale. And sigh. Good. We're going to open up the shoulders a bit. Now, if you're seated, you're going to stick with the shoulders as we roll them up. If you stand, if you prefer to stand, we're going to add some lateral hip motion as well. We'll add that in after a few breaths. So again, sit tall. If you can, try to sit towards the edge of the chair. We're going to extend the fingers as wide as we can. And remember in the beginning, when we pull the lower ribs down, so the rib cage will stack, we want to maintain that stack as the arms reach out. So we don't want the chest to flare open at this point. We want to use the abdominal muscles to keep the low ribs pulling down. Then reach the arms wide. Take the right shoulder, hike it up to the right ear, and then roll it forward. So my right shoulder is up and in internal rotation. My palm is facing the ceiling. At the same time, I'm going to take my left arm and roll it back so my shoulder blade slides down my spine. And that palm is also facing the ceiling. And then I'm going to take my time and switch arms. So now the left arm goes up, internal rotation. Right arm is an external rotation. And then I want to switch. I'm going to breathe here. So it doesn't matter which side you go to. Make sure you keep breathing. You maybe inhale to come to center. Exhale, find the rotation. Breathe in to center. Breathe out, rotation. If the arms get a bit tight, you can bend the elbows. That's always an option. If you are standing, you're going to keep doing that. But then we're going to add some hip motion. Inhale to center. As you exhale, let's see your left shoulder is in internal rotation. Your left hip will slide to the left. Back up. Go to the other side. If you are sliding the hip, you want to avoid rounding the spine for this one. You want to keep it long. So the hips themselves are going to pull. You're going to feel that lengthening sensation through the side of your body, on both sides. It may be a bit comfortable if you bend the opposite knee. So if your right hip is out to the side, your left knee may bend a bit, that's fine. Inhale to center. Exhale to rotate. Breathe in and out. A few more reps. One more in each direction. Let's come back to center. Lower the arms. Breathe in and out. Again, in and out. Breath in, breath out. So we're going to go into a lunge pattern. And when we do this lunge pattern, we're going to play around with the hips a bit. We're going to go from anterior pelvic tilt to posterior pelvic tilt. So basically, you're going to rock the hips like this. So I'll show some variations that you could do. First variation, you can just come down with one leg in front of you. Opposite knee is under the hip. That's an option. Second option, if you don't want to go down too low, bring your foot up onto a chair. That's fine. If you're bringing your foot up onto the chair, we don't want the back leg too far back, so we're leaning forward. We want to stand tall. If you are going to be sitting in your chair, if you could bring your foot up onto the chair, that's fine. If not, if you have like a little stool you could rest your foot on, that's going to be ideal. Basically, what we want to have is flexion of the hip. So we do want one leg to just raise as much as we can. It doesn't have to be all the way up here, but some sort of elevation of one leg is ideal. So whichever variation you want to choose, come into that. If you're down in your lunge, remember we want to stand tall through the upper body. Low ribs pull down. What we're going to do is bring our hands down the hips. We're going to actually hold on to the hip bones. We're going to move the hips around. So think of the hips as a bucket of water. When it's in a neutral position, the water is going to stay in that bucket. If we tilt the bucket forward, the water is going to fall out. If we tilt the bucket back, the water is going to fall out. So usually we want to have that nice neutral position, and neutral looks different for everyone. But the thing is, if you avoid those ranges, when you actually have to get into that range, your body's going to be unfamiliar with it. So what we're going to do in this lunge position is carry the hips into an anterior pelvic tilt and a posterior pelvic tilt. So when you do the anterior tilt, it's going to look like your butt is trying to stick up. When you do the posterior tilt, it's going to look like the tailbone tucks under and your butt is going down and forward. So that's all we're going to do here. We're going to play around with the hips. But the trick is to stay tall in the upper body and engage through the abdominals. So hands to your hips. Take a breath in, get tall. Breath out right here. Let's go ahead. Let's create an anterior pelvic tilt. So your butt is going to stick back. Posterior pelvic tilt. Butt tucks under. Let's go. Inhale, anterior tilt. Exhale, posterior tilt. Breathe in, anterior tilt. Breathe out, posterior tilt. Breathe in and out. Anterior tilt, posterior tilt. Let's keep going. If you're seated, so you have one leg up, you're still going to find that tilt through your hips. May not be as much as if you were kneeling. Really want to get the hips involved. Let's switch legs. Whichever leg is in front, bring it down. Whichever leg is down, bring that one in front. We'll do the other side. Inhale, anterior tilt. Exhale, posterior tilt. Keep going. Breathe in and out. Inhale, anterior tilt. Exhale, posterior tilt. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale and exhale. Go again. Breath in, breath out. In and out. Let's come back to neutral. Relax. Just take a breath in, take a breath out. Let's go again. Inhale and exhale. Next thing we're going to do is thoracic rotation of the spine. So the thoracic spine is basically your mid back. That should be able to rotate so you could look behind you. And there's different variations to get into that as well. So you could be seated, that's fine. Alternatively, you could kneel, or if you really want to test your strength here, you're going to come down into a squat, a deep squat with the heels flat. Now, normally, strict thoracic rotation will just be twisting side to side. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to the side, but add some elevation as well. So wherever you're sitting on a block, squatting, kneeling, you're on a chair, what it's going to look like with the upper body at least is we rotate slightly and then lift the hand up. And we're going to look at that hand. And then we're going to come back and just do the opposite arm. Now you may notice a difference side to side. That's okay. We don't want to force one side to match the other. What we want to do is allow the body to open up. I always recommend whenever someone does this type of movement to use the eyes to help look further. Because if your eyes could see it, that means the brain could perceive it, which will make it feel more secure, therefore possibly allowing more mobility. So whichever variation you want to be in, set yourself up. Let's inhale, let's reach your right arm up, twist, look up, exhale, come back to center. Breathe in, reach up, and breathe out to center. Inhale, arm up, exhale to center. Go again, left arm up, left arm down. Keep going, breathe in, and out. Inhale, arm up, exhale, center. Breathe in, reach up, twist open, breathe out, center. Inhale, left arm up, exhale to center. A few more reps, breathe in, let the chest go wide. Breathe out, contract your core, come back. Let's go again, inhale, twist, exhale, center. Two more on each side. Breathe in, right arm up. Breathe out to center. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale to center. One more on each side. Breath in, twist. Breath out, back. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Stay where you are, breathe in. And out. In out. Again. So now we're going to play around with the scapula, with the shoulder blades of it. We're going to practice some protraction of the shoulder blades. Protraction means that the shoulder blades will slide forward. So basically, anytime you reach your arm out in front of you and you're trying to reach for something, your shoulder blades are protracting to reach forward. So what we're going to do here is find eagle arms, as they say in yoga. You're going to be seated for this one or kneeling. You can sit on the ground, chair, a block, kneel, doesn't matter. But we're just not going to stand. We're going to relax the upper body for this to really focus on moving the shoulder blade forward. So once again, protraction of the shoulder blade. And just so we know, retraction of the shoulder blade is the opposite direction. So if I bring my arms, if I pinch my shoulder blades together, it's retracting. If I slide my arms forward, it's protracting. And usually, when we want to maintain full control of the scapula as we move the arms, we keep the elbows straight. But in this case, we're going to cross the arms. So let's bring the right arm under the left. We're going to interlock the elbows, and your palms could touch, or you could grab for opposite shoulders. That's fine. What we want to do is keep the elbows lifting. However, if the elbows lift and the traps, the upper traps, hike up towards the ears, let's relax that a bit. We don't want the shoulders coming up towards the ears. We want to keep them down. So we could interlock the arms, try to relax the upper shoulders, and let's push forward through the elbows. Let them go forward. So we protract the shoulders, and then we bring them back. Shoulders go forward, shoulders come back. Let's add some breath. Inhale, elbows and shoulders go forward. Exhale, bring them back. Shoulders and elbows forward, bring them back. It may be beneficial if you try to straighten the elbows, but you may end up hiking your shoulders. Remember, we want to avoid that. So if that happens, keep the deep bend to the elbows. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale, exhale. Breath in, breath out. In and out. Keep going. Protract, retract, and relax the arms. Take a breath in, take a breath out. Do that again. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to switch the arms. So this time, bring the left arm under the right. Again, palms touch, or you could grab your shoulders. You may notice a difference in the sensation, in the movement, as one arm is now on top of the other. That's okay. Don't fight it. Don't try to force it to be equal to the other side. We're just trying to create space through breath and subtle movement. So the elbows interlocked. Inhale, push it forward. Exhale, bring it back. Breathe in, glide it forward. Breathe out, pinch the shoulder blades together. Inhale and exhale. As you breathe in, it's going to feel like you're spreading your back wide. And breathe out, pinch your shoulder blades. Again, in and out. Breath in, breath out. In out, in, and out. Just a few more times. One more time here. Protract and retract. Release the arms. Breathe in. Breathe out your mouth. Again, in and out. Breath in, breath out. We're gonna go into the glutes piriformis. Some of us, we might feel this one in the hip flexors. It's pigeon pose, very popular in yoga. Again, we have a few variations for this. So if you are up on a chair, what you could do is just bring one leg onto the chair. So the shin is going to run parallel across the chair. Depending on how high the chair is, it's going to increase the stretch or decrease the stretch. So if your leg is up on the chair, you're just going to lean forward on it gently. And you're going to slowly bend this left knee and allow the hips to come back. As you do that, instead of allowing the right hip to pull back, we want to keep the right leg where it is. So it's going to feel as if you're getting a lengthening sensation through the right hip. If you are down on the ground, you're going to bring the right knee to the right wrist. The toes will point to the left. The left leg will slide back. It's going to anchor down, and you're going to lift yourself up. So in this variation of pigeon, you want the upper body to remain lifted and wide. If you are up on the chair, the hip's going to pull back a bit to deepen the stretch into the leg. If you're down on the ground, the left leg or whichever leg is behind is going to press down, it's going to stay anchored. The front leg, that thigh is going to be active the entire time. So instead of just being passive and dropping yourself down, you want to be active. Push your hands down into the floor or your mat. And if you have a block for support, that's good. You could put that block underneath the hip of the leg that is forward. You can use a pillow, a cushion, water bottle, anything you choose. So let's get into this position. Let's go with the right leg forward. Remember, both legs will remain active. Depending on your body, depending on the day, depending on the week, you may feel this stretch in a few different places. Some of us may feel it in the outside of the front leg. Some of us may feel it in the inner part of the hip. I'm going to keep breathing in and out. It's going to be a bit more subtle, a bit quieter. If you are down on the ground, another thing you could do is walk the upper body towards the left. You want to keep the legs, wherever foot forward is for you, keep the legs pointing that way. As you move the upper body to the side, it's going to get into the psoas and the iliacus muscles. By all means, you can make this dynamic. If you want to rock the upper body side to side, you could do that. If you are using the chair with the leg up, you can hinge back and stand tall. Hinge back, stand tall. Remember, keep your legs somewhat active. Let's take our time. Switch legs. So whichever leg was in front, bring that one behind. Leg that was behind, you're going to bring that one in front. And choose which works, whatever variation works best for you. You could stay static, walk to the side, or you can make it dynamic, rock back and forth. And slowly, you're going to make your way into a neutral seated position. So you can sit on the ground, cross your legs, you bring your feet together. You could sit on heels. If you're up on a chair, just sit, bring your hands to your thighs. You're going to sit tall with the lower ribs pulling down, but the spine lifting up. And just close your eyes. Hands on the thighs. Breathe in and out. In and out. Breath in. Breath out. Take a slow, deep inhale and a long sigh out your mouth. So what we did today was to create stability through the intrinsic muscles in the body. There was no major complex movements, as sometimes we do in these classes, but the idea is to create stability. So if we have proximal stability, we have distal mobility, meaning once your center is stable, the extremities of the body will feel safer to move. That was the idea behind today's class. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I don't know how to unmute everyone, so if you want to ask any questions, just unmute yourself. Let me know.
Thank you so much. It's just
You're
like
welcome.
what the doctor ordered. I especially like the transitions between the chair and standing. So I was able to do both, whatever I could do, stand or sit, because it was so clear. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome, then.